Today's episode is a little bit different because we're flipping the script. Usually I'm the one asking the questions around here, but I'm letting Kelly take over the host seat for a bit. A few weeks ago, I had the honor of being recognized as the 2026 Emerging Leader by the American Advertising Federation of Central Minnesota, an award that recognizes professionals who are making an impact in our industry and community. This was an incredible honor, and I'm excited to talk about that experience, what the award means to me, and the role AAF played in my career. So, for this episode, I'll step out of the host seat and into the guest seat, and Kelly will take it from here. Welcome to Behind the Brand, the podcast for small business owners, solopreneurs, and aspiring entrepreneurs who are ready to start strong, stand out, and stay bold. Each week, we'll take you behind the scenes to explore what it takes to build a memorable brand and grow a successful business. Are you ready to get behind the brand? Let's dive in.
Hello, Moxieverse. Welcome to another episode of Behind the Brand. I'm Kelly Kane, Moxie Creative, joined by my beautiful co-host, Taylor Selno.
Hello.
Hi, Taylor.
Hi.
We switched seats.
We did.
Actually, I sit over there, but you're
weird.
over here.
I don't know where to look.
Look at
Look
me.
at you. Just look at you.
Well, we have a very special episode of Behind the Brand. Today, we are going to talk to Taylor, the 2026 Emerging Leader, as designated by the American Advertising Federation of Central Minnesota. You just got an award.
I did. Very cool.
So what is this award? Tell me about it.
Tell you about it. I feel like I don't know the definition about it. What it means to me, I guess, in terms of what an emerging leader is. I've always looked at it as someone that's within our industry, the advertising/marketing industry, that is coming up in their career and starting to really make some moves, make changes, make a name for themselves. Past emerging leaders have been others who have worked in agencies and also those who have worked in in-house positions. So it's not just designated for an account manager like myself, but it's just anybody within our industry that is proving themselves in their career, whether that be leading a team or creating new initiatives within their organization. And they are nominated by their teammates, employers, somebody. I don't know who would have nominated me for the award. But yeah, so they're nominated by their peers and then voted on by their peers, actually by past emerging leaders, usually select the winners or past presidents of the AAFCM board. So
okay, so let's back up a minute.
Yeah.
So AAFCM is the American Advertising Federation of Central Minnesota.
Yep.
That's our local advertising club.
Yes.
It's the organization that puts on our American Advertising Awards every year. Mm-hmm. It's a national organization, and we have a local chapter, right? I have been a past president. I am a current president.
Yes,
you have been a past president on the board, and now you are on the board with me, too.
Yep.
So, a little bit background on the Emerging Leader. It's a new award that the club gives, I think about
Nine. I'm the ninth. Number 9.
Okay, so for many, many years, the National Club gives Silver Medal Award, which is kind of sort of a career achievement, right? It's for someone a little bit older that has proven themselves.
Like you. You're a silver medalist.
Yes, so I'm trying to think, 2015 I got that, and I'm still here. I believe the Emerging Leader is just for our club, not national.
Yeah, it's a local award.
So I love that. And they did it kind of like, Silver Medal Junior.
Yeah.
It's really like these
Silver
people.
Medal Junior.
Yeah, these people are on track to maybe get that someday.
Yeah.
And it's so fitting because you're my mini-me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, confession out, I did nominate you, but Michael and Mo also had the same idea and helped me with your nomination.
Yeah,
So that was pretty cool.
Yes.
Yes, and it was fun giving you the award. I was supposed to present a different award. Of course, I traded with somebody because I wanted to give it. I thought that would give it away.
Yeah.
But you were surprised.
I was very surprised. You being the current president of the club.
You knew I had to speak.
Yeah, I was like, okay. So, all right, I'm going to give it a little bit of backstory. I've been a part of the American Advertising Federation since I was in college, actually. I was heavily involved in NSAC, which is the National Student Advertising Competition, my senior year. I was the leader of that group on my campus. And then I moved to St. Cloud and kind of ended my relationship with AAF because I was like, I don't know.
They can't have one of those here.
I knew that there was one in the cities, and I was like, I'm not going to be driving down to the cities. I did end up connecting with my friend Sarah Forstek when she worked at Meta 13, and she was like, hey, would you be interested in joining this? And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this existed here. My path has led on since there.
Right.
In 2020, I was the president. But I remember going to my first award show, and I think it was the second year of Emerging Leader, and I was like, oh, wow. And Sarah might have won, or Andrea, I think maybe was the second one. And I was like, wow, I would really love to get that someday. Like, that would just be such a cool honor. And last year, I kind of had it in my head a little bit, like, oh, maybe this is my year. And I got myself a little bit maybe worked up too much about it. It went to a really awesome person, Taylor over at Switchboard.
Right.
A different Taylor.
But
I had no idea if you had even nominated me. It was just in my head, and I kind of built it up a little bit too much that day, and felt a lot of disappointment. So this year I was like, I'm not even thinking about it.
We orchestrated all of that.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not thinking about it. And I really gave absolute zero thought to it. And then you're walking up on stage, and I was like, oh, okay, well, she's the president, whatever. Yeah. And then you kept talking, and I was like, oh, okay.
At what point did you think
I don't even remember. Honestly, Kelly, I think I was thinking about this morning. Yeah, like I feel, the whole like last hour of the Addies, I was like, I don't understand what's happening. And that's not just because I won the award. Tell them what you did.
When I won the Silver Medal Award, you were notified, and then your nominator would present it to you, and we even like did a video or whatever. Now they do the surprise thing.
Yeah.
So I got an email or a little text that said, "Hey, Taylor won. Can you let her family know?" So of course now I'm thinking, how do I get a hold of your husband? We're not texting friends, but I was friends with him on Facebook, so I contacted him there, and so I said, can we get her mom and her sister and get some family there? Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, I don't know. They live here and they live there. I'm like, can you just do it? And then he's like, what's the award? He must have called me like 3 times. Should they come to the thing, or can they just meet us at the bar? I'm like, it's important. I need them at the thing, but not till this time. Well, what time? I don't know what time. It's the last award. It was just this whole thing.
Yeah.
And the last I heard, a couple people were coming.
Yeah.
Because your dad and your stepmom were coming up anyway to watch the kids.
Yep.
And I said, well, have them bring the kids. At least they'll be there. He's like, well, they're coming. Again, we're trying to guess when this award's coming up. And so then I text Tyler. I'm like, okay, now.
Yeah. And it worked out so great because you were sitting at a different table than Tyler and I. Mm-hmm. And Tyler, and we ended up not sitting next to each other even at the table.
The reason it took more than one person is because there were a lot of drinks to be had on Addie night. I mean, I was very concerned, and everybody in the office knew that our party started at 3:30.
Yeah.
And I was not presenting this award till probably 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, And, okay, so Tyler tells me it's good. I'm just nervous about walking up with my heels to have my script and to have my glasses. Because I could just see I'm going to go up there. I'm not going to have my glasses. And I'm not looking up. I'm just looking at the script. And at first, we're just talking about the award itself.
Yeah.
And then even the description that was written, I felt like it could have been anyone, even though it was straight from my nomination.
Right.
I didn't necessarily recognize it. And I'm like, well, this could be anyone.
Yeah.
And then at the end there, then I added a few, I think I said mini-me.
Yeah.
And then I looked, when you walked up, I looked up and I saw your family. And 20 people?
Yeah.
Yeah. 20 people over there, just way in the corner. And we had it extra dark for our decorations, right, with the lights. And then I just turned you around and said, look there's your I don't know why I did that. I just did. So that was really fun.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I still feel like I'm kind of emotional, thinking about it. Probably the most special night of my life and one of the nicest things that anybody has ever done for me. Yeah, my dad and stepmom were there, which left me very confused.
You're like, where are my kids?
That's the first thing I said, because I could see that my children were not there.
Yeah.
But they had arranged for one of our, extended cousins' kids to come up with my aunt and uncle, who also have 2 kids. So the babysitter stayed back with the kids, and my aunt and uncle came. My best friend since I was 7 and her fiance, my college best friend and her husband, and then
uncles. And aunts
my cousin
brother-in-laws.
and her. My brother-in-law was there, and then my cousin and her family, which is 5 of them. They came from Farmington, which is not close. You know, they all just.
I was just going to guess about 20 people, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
It was not just a couple people.
No, yeah, they all traveled 2 hours to come and be there, and it was
at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
They didn't even see you till 9 o'clock.
Then I had to kind of pull it together and say some things. And
you did great.
Thank
because
you.
You're a great speaker.
Thanks.
It was almost like, get her off. You were talking too long.
I know. I was trying to wrap it up. Yeah, I walked off the stage and walked right over to them, and my best friend came running up to me and gave me a hug, and then we got out to the like foyer and I was like, you guys.
Did you cry?
Yeah, I was like, I don't understand what's happening. I've had one too many tequilas. Like,
One?
I was only on my 1.5 there, but like it was, yeah, I don't know. The whole thing just.
And it was dark, so we're half sleeping.
Yeah,
I know.
it was just.
That's how every Addie's goes for me.
Yeah.
I just, once the lights go out, I kind of forget everything.
And then we went out and celebrated the whole night and it was just so special.
It was fun. It was great for me. I loved meeting all the family.
Yeah. I cannot thank you enough for organizing that for me, getting Tyler to do it.
Yeah,
I'm very proud of him.
He was really excited.
He does
for
not.
You.
Yes,
he did not take convincing. It was just like he just had to
Yeah.
find time, and we're doing this
He
all
just-
while he's
the-
at work,
the
so that
thing
you
that
don't
he
know.
doesn't do well with is, which is funny, because then he's asking you all the questions, but when people are asking him 20 questions, and so him just trying to organize this and having people being like, "Where should we meet?" I'm sure his head was just like,
Yeah, we talked a few
Yeah,
times. He did
yeah,
great. He
yeah.
was so happy for you too. Yeah, it was
Well, he's a
awesome.
huge supporter of mine, and it's hard to be a
So
working
let's
parent,
just say,
so.
some people, it might not have been, 20 people coming up,
Yeah.
or maybe, oh, I got this award, no big deal. But
Yeah.
I'm so happy that it meant a lot to you,
Yeah.
and it meant a lot to your family.
Yeah.
Because it is a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, but I have some questions
Go
for
ahead.
the emerging leader.
Okay.
So I just had ChatGPT print out some,
Okay.
or they didn't print it for me. They just wrote some stuff.
They might be able to do that soon.
He or she or they, but I thought they were funny.
Okay.
Because
Oh,
they're so
God.
serious. Okay.
Something we're not.
Yeah.
Okay. lay it on
Looking
me.
back at the projects or moments that led to this recognition, what do you think made the biggest difference in your growth as a professional?
Well, I think the thing that probably made the biggest difference, and I don't mean to get whatever, but I do think the opportunity to help in the founding of Moxie, I think that really made a difference. I remember at one point, it was probably in the first year, I was having a conversation with Mo, and I was just saying like how much I feel like my position and my role within the agency has changed going from, the first one to this one. And he was like, really? I thought you were doing the same thing. I'm like, yeah, like my title's the same, but the
Responsibility was
and like
different.
the way that I felt like I was positioned to like level up and actually felt like I had some leadership and ownership over the things that we were putting out for our clients. I think that really is a huge thing that in my mind that excelled me to be like, yes, this is something that I was striving for, I've achieved. But for me, that, is my big like 3 years ago, everything just kind of changed for me in my career. So
Once you're done just popping out babies.
yeah.
We had to get that out of the way.
Yeah, and now we
first.
done.
Okay, so how do you, because I remember that, it wasn't, obviously you helped me forming Moxie and stuff, but I'd have to say it was after your maternity leave because you were just very focused on, growing a human as you had to be. But it wasn't long after we started Moxie that you
No.
had to leave.
Yeah.
So when you came back, and then it was tough because kids are sick. You came back
Yeah.
in the winter. Kids
Yeah.
are sick in the winter. It's just your head's not in the right place. And then I think it was about February, and I'm like, okay, this is what we need to
Yeah.
do. And then I think that's when everybody kind of like, okay, this is for real.
Yeah, well, I think we were still figuring things out. And by February, we had our full team back in action because it wasn't just my maternity leave when Moxie
Oh,
started.
yeah,
it was
Brittany's
Brittany's too. And I think at that point, then it had kind of shifted in our head like, oh shit, people don't understand who we are and what we're doing and that we're the old business or we're a new business. And so I think all of us kind of felt like, okay, we have to level up and step up. And for me, I finally felt like, well, I have actually the room to do that or the permission to do that.
Because
And
I'm like, hey, you gotta help me.
Yeah, and really be your second in command, like to help you
Right.
steer the ship in the way that we want it to go.
The question here, which I think we just answered it, was what experiences or decisions in your career pushed you from simply doing the work to actually stepping into leadership within the community? So I would say you were already a leader. You talked about NSAC, and you
Yeah.
were a leader of that group, and then you were president of AdFed before, as a wee child, before you even came to work for me. So
Yeah.
I really believe you've always been a leader,
Yeah.
right? I think we're kind of like, even probably in kindergarten, you were
Well, I think-
telling people what to do or whatever, 'cause
I
that's-
think leaders are leaders,
Right,
right?
I do too.
It is kind of one of those things where you have it or you don't, or you want it or you don't, know?
Right, yeah. So my point is, I think you have been a leader in the advertising community for a while,
Yeah.
but I think as a strong leader at Moxie,
Yeah.
that was in the last 3 years
Yeah.
or so.
This is maybe like silly and a little like egotistical, but it also feels like when people like started to know me and like recognize me as someone in the community. And that also comes from, okay, now I've been working in the community for 10 years. You know, obviously when I started, I was only 5 years in, so I was still just a little baby. But it's like, okay, now people know who I am. They know what I do. They know if they want X, Y, and Z, they can reach out to me.
Right. And I think we started having Taylor give the presentation, Taylor go to this group, Taylor, and then people are like, wow, she's really
joining
smart.
my networking group, that was also, I think, a big turning point for me, because it really made me step out of that, I don't want to say comfort zone, but just made me feel like I do know what I'm talking about.
And you're representing the company.
Yeah.
I think a couple chamber presentations we had there, 2 or 3, is when people start commenting to me about you. So I do think, have people to, so you're always a leader. We just have to give you some exposure, right? Okay. And then you said the permission. I think when things get overwhelming and things, like I was just too busy to do everything, I mean, that is you saw that as an opportunity. That's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Right? I remember my first job thinking my boss could do this, but he doesn't have the time, so this is my opportunity. So what kind of responsibility do you feel as an emerging leader to shape the next generation of advertisers?
Well, it's a good question, because I'm doing it right now. We have a wee little Taylor in the office now in Mackey, and I do think I feel a lot of responsibility, because I know what good mentorship can do for someone in their career. I mean, I'm living, breathing proof of that. Yeah, I feel a lot of responsibility to take her under my wing and help her and appreciate her. I think that's a huge thing, and I think that's something that you have just done so well. There's not a second where I don't feel like the work that I'm doing goes unnoticed, or so I think that's a huge thing. And I think when we're acknowledging the people that are helping us achieve the things that we want to achieve, that makes them want to just work so much harder. Were we just talking about that on another episode of podcast? I don't know. Or I was listening to it somewhere. But yeah, so I feel a lot of responsibility to build Mackey up. And I hope that my hope for her is like one day maybe she can be on that stage and have that.
Oh, she will be.
Yeah.
So do you remember being 22 and having your first job?
Yeah.
Terrified or?
No, not at first. I was definitely not terrified at first. And a huge reason for that is because I had a really awesome boss. And then that awesome boss left because the company was getting to be not so awesome. And I didn't really have what my next step was going to be. But, and so for a while I was like, well, I think I can just hang out here. I think it will be okay. And going back to you've always been a leader, I thought, well, maybe I can do what he was doing. Quickly realized, no, I was not.
Not ready for that.
I was not ready for that. And the company also wasn't ready for that. I was not seen as, an equal, on the equal playing field. And perhaps I wasn't, that's okay. But I don't think I was terrified at first. But then, it got there. And then I left and I shifted and, and worked somewhere where there wasn't maybe as much responsibility, like it was just kind of casual for a while. And that was good. And then I needed more.
Right. So when you joined me, was your third job. So we had similar trajectory. I worked at 2 in-house places and then went to an agency too. So that's kind of sets you up.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And that's not to say, Mackey, obviously this is her first job, so she's just getting a taste in the agency world. That's not to say that there's a right or a wrong way. But for me, I think that was great. And actually, you would, I know I always bring this up, but like I met with you before I took my second job for the first time. And then you ended up not hiring and, but it all obviously worked out.
So this leads me to my next question. So what advice would you have for young professionals that want to kind of stand out? We were talking about this at a conference recently that unfortunately, a lot of the bigger agencies, the entry-level jobs are taken over by AI, which I totally still blows my mind. I don't get.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like administrative stuff. But we did hire, hired Mackey, and she's entry-level. What advice would you give them? I mean, it's a tough economy right now.
I think, as hard as it is, if you're in the application process and you're going through it and you're getting rejection after rejection, just keep showing up because you will be a shiny penny to someone. That will happen. I think when Mackey came to us, we had just gotten off of a really not great internship experience and I didn't want to do it. And, she showed up, met with us. We gave her a chance. We said, okay, let's meet with her. And instantly I was like,
you gave her a chance.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, all right, I'm hooked. And so I think, keep showing up. If you can get yourself in front of the people, whether that's directly through a interview or it is going to events, like if you're in the St. Cloud area and
Come to an AdFed event?
come to an AdFed event. And if you're listening to this and advertising or marketing is not your thing that you're in, find a different group that is putting on an event that you can get involved in. There's so many things in the area for young professionals to be involved in. The chamber puts on really awesome things. Rotaract, the Next Young Professionals, that's part of chamber. So there's so many opportunities to show up, and you just have to be willing to do it. And I remember being a senior in college and driving downtown Minneapolis to go to an Add To like networking mixer thing, portfolio type something. I don't even remember what it exactly was. And wanted to puke, was so nervous because I knew there was going to be, ad professionals there that were working at agencies that at the time I had wanted to, still be in the cities. I remember parking. I'm pretty sure I probably called my mom and was like, I'm not going to go in, but I did it anyway. Nothing came from it except for
you
me.
Did it.
Yeah. Like I could be like, well, I can do that. It was fine. Yeah. No, but, and when my friend Sarah was like, hey, do you want to come to an AdFed meeting? Of course, I was
could have said no.
Yeah, I could have said no, and I could have, but whatever. I was new to town and nervous and didn't, know anybody, and I could have not gone. But the fear of not knowing, or that's gotta get over that.
Getting involved is number one way,
because something will happen.
Yeah, you'll meet someone that gives you advice, or you'll meet someone that knows somebody, or you'll meet someone that will hire you. I mean, not right away. But I mean, just to network and to be well-rounded like that.
Yeah, and my other advice is your dream job is probably not going to be your first job.
Right.
And that's okay. And it might not be your second job either, and I do remember how sad I was when you ended up not hiring. And I mean, I was so sad. I remember that Mother's Day, because it was in an April, I think. Maybe it was Easter. I don't remember. But I went and had brunch somewhere with my whole family, and I was saying I really think I'm going to get this job at this agency, and I'm so excited. And then it didn't happen, and that's okay.
We didn't hire anyone else.
Yeah,
we just didn't hire anyone.
Exactly. Exactly. But don't let that disappointment, don't dwell on that, because things can come full circle, or what happens next might have been, and I'm not really everything happens for a reason kind of person, but every step in your career is going to lead you to the next thing.
Exactly.
And eventually you will get somewhere that feels like home, that feels like this is where you want to build your career, where you want to be the best version of yourself as an individual. You will have that.
Okay, I'm throwing away these questions now because we've answered them all, but I have a question for you. So how about the step from just doing your job to being a leader? How is that here at Moxie? Just because, you have some, I don't say people that you supervise, because we're all kind of horizontal, but people that you have to work with that perhaps
it's
are
hard.
older than you.
Yeah, and it's still hard for me every day. There are a lot of conversations that are hard for me to have, and sometimes I probably say things too late, and then we all end up paying for it. But I'm learning, and I'm getting better at that every day, and being a little bit more assertive, and I might follow it up with a said with love, but it's tough. And I don't even know if it's so much the age thing. That actually doesn't really bother me, probably because I grew up around people older than me my whole life. I was an only child for a very long time, and but it's I feel like we're friends, and that's tough, because it's never easy to say something to a friend. And so just realizing okay, I have to separate this for a second. Yeah. And then it always turns out fine, after I say it 2 seconds later, then we're back giving each other shit. So it's,
When I was in your position, I was the same age as everyone else, and I was plucked out to be the leader.
I think that would be harder for me, to be honest.
And I was plucked out to be the leader, and they're like, F you. I mean, it was, and I remember just I wasn't good at it, and I remember being upset, and my boss saying, well, when you're, his wife's age, I wouldn't have that problem. And it's true, as you hire people on, they just see you as a leader. But when you started out as not a leader or whatever, here I think obviously age is not as big of a deal as it used to be. I think people respect young women now more than they used to. I'm not saying totally, but I think everyone here respected you. I just think the friendship thing, but also kind of directing creative people is a whole nother thing.
It is. It is. And that's,
it's not like get back to work.
Right.
They were working, just
yeah.
not the right way or
yeah,
on
yeah.
the right thing.
And sometimes that can be tricky because it's like, in my mind, I'm like, what I'm asking you to do. And God, I hate saying
simple.
this because like clients say that to us all the
it's
time.
like with Taylor, you put 4 hours on everything, and it's not 4 hours. So I'm like, is it a scheduling problem? Is it a follow-through problem?
Yeah.
I mean,
we're working. We're working through all of that every day, every week, and
Right.
learning as we go. And I know we continue to joke about it, but like, I'm not ready for you to be gone. Like, I still have so much to
I'm not
learn.
going anywhere.
I know you're not. But like, we have those conversations. I'm like, well, for example, you went to Hawaii for 2 weeks, and I messed one thing up and then sold this other project that went to hell in a handbasket. And I was like, I'm not ready for this yet.
I do that every day. It has nothing to do with me being gone. Has nothing. Those two things are not related. This business is hard. We're not selling widgets.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There'll be many projects where you'll be like, I'm never doing that again. But that'll happen when you're your age or my age.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. So I remember when you started, walking around here, and Michael and I are like, who does she think she is? She thinks she's the boss. But we're saying it like we loved it.
Yeah.
And we still do. I'm like, Michael, what are you doing? Whatever the boss says, because you kind of run his schedule. And we joke as the elder statesman of the company. We joke because we're so proud.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like, oh, she's so bossy and rude. We love it. I'm kidding. Not the rude part.
Well, sometimes I get cranky.
Yeah.
We both get cranky, and then we call each other out for it, and we move on.
But I kind of remember that little flip, and I'm like, yeah, and I have to step back and let you manage the way you need to manage.
Yeah.
But also still kind of
Yeah.
nudge you along.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. And I definitely still need those nudges and those reminders, because there are times where like I get in kind of my tunnel vision, and I'm like, well, I have to work on this. And it's like, well, you also have to work on this, And so it's
Becoming,
it's just
going from the practitioner to the manager is tough.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
we
And
do
here
both.
we do both. Yeah. So it's a balancing act, but
Right.
I love it. Would not have it any other way. When I talk to my friends, I think
Try to describe what
Well,
they-
yeah, but I like, and even like Shannon and Katie, my two best friends that came up to the awards.
They're like, what do you do?
Well, no, I think that they're like, you just have the best job. You have the best
that's
team,
true.
the best boss. And I hope that I'm always like describing what I do that way and making people feel like that. I think I was joking around with one of my friends last night, and she's like, I might need to get a job at Moxie, So like, it's hard, but it's the best.
That's right. It's not everyone can do your job either. And so that's what I was trying to explain to your family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because they probably don't understand what the hell I do. They think
you're
I just
talking
come
on
and
the
sit on
podcast.
podcasts.
Yeah. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
It is a tough job. I had somebody that was a young tailor, and then she left kind of right away, went to another agency, and now she's out of it altogether. And she told me that, agency life's not for everyone. And she kind of, hindsight told me that she thought I was pretty special that I could do it that long.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I love it. I mean, you have to like the flow of the work
Right.
and the chaos
Yeah.
and the,
Yeah. Did you always feel like that's what you wanted to do?
No, I never wanted to do it.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know you were, like you want to do like sports journalism and stuff, but like, I don't know, like when this became like an idea in your head.
So my first job, I worked as a PR coordinator
Yeah.
at a telecommunications company, so a telephone company in Bemidji, just
Yeah.
a little thing. And I gave tours of the building, and I did like the community involvement, and I did the newsletter, and I did stuff like that. I love that job, like a communications job,
Yeah.
And then the second job was called marketing manager, and it was for a theater, and I was supposed to like help promote the shows. I liked that job too, but wasn't the best environment. And then seriously, when I moved to St. Cloud, I was in Herberger's, walked out of Herberger's, the wrong door, and saw Thielen Advertising.
Yeah.
And when I went to school, advertising and PR were two different things.
Right.
So I learned more of the PR, which was the earned. But there's so many overlaps. But in my head, like, I'm not working for advertising. And
yeah.
then I met with him and explained what they do, and I just took a chance.
Yeah.
And so, I've been doing it since I was, I'm trying to think, 28 or so, and 30 years.
Yeah.
So
The reason I asked was just because, like, this is what I always wanted to do.
yeah,
I didn't
even know it existed.
I went to school.
I wanted to be
for
the
this.
spokesperson
Yeah.
in a magazine that said Kelly Kane, the spokesperson for the U.S. Olympics. team.
Yeah.
I wanted to plan the governor's ball or something. I do that now. I do plan
the
events,
YMCA
yeah.
promenade, governor's ball, same thing.
Right. I did think that maybe I'd be in, I don't know, some kind of a spokesperson.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is I needed to support myself. I grew up in a very poor family. I was the first one to graduate from college. I just wanted to make a living, and I didn't really have a plan either.
Yeah.
You know, I liked writing. Social media existed then. That would have been a great job for me.
Yeah.
Whatever. I was kind of then at that age too, just plucked. I think we are kind of parallel paths that
Yeah.
way. Just plucked, and all of a sudden I was an account manager, trained under my boss for about a year before I talked to people because he needed to step back a little bit, and there I went. So
Very similar paths.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know how. Always back to me. Always
Yeah.
bringing it back to me.
Well, I was just curious.
So what's next for this emerging young leader?
Well, I think today we have one more podcast episode to record.
Not literally
I
next.
know,
I meant.
know.
Any other goals?
I think I'm actually at a point where, and maybe this is not like an appropriate answer, but like I'm done having kids. My daughter, she'll be 3. Like, I feel like there's this thing in the mom world now, and the flamingos. After they have their babies for so long and their babies are growing up, they start to get pink again because they actually turn like white. So you get your pink back. And I feel like I'm really like there. I'm right on the cusp or have just gone over it.
It's adult time
And
now.
yeah, and so like my goal is to, of course, be the best mom that I can be, right? But like I just want to really kick ass at my job that I feel, not obviously I have been, but like I can
Obviously.
well, I mean, I didn't get an award for nothing. But you know, like now's the time where I can put
Yeah.
more emphasis.
I remember that
in
time for me
this,
too,
you know?
because I was older than you, but I was like, should I have a third baby? And I'm like, when is it adult time? Like,
Yeah,
I just was ready to go back to work.
yeah, yeah.
And I was in my late 30s, not early 30s, but I remember that time. And then I
Yeah.
started a business.
Yeah. Another goal, I'm getting more involved in my like very local community, which I feel like I haven't been able to do up until now. And that's also something that's really important to me. We live in a really teeny small town and
Yeah, and
I
you're a
just-
leader there too.
Yeah. And I feel really good about that. And I'm really excited to see where that goes in
That's
the next
exciting.
year. So
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And then you have to mentor little Mackie.
yes, yes.
So you got to mentor her, but not do it for her.
Right.
I had a hard time with that. I used to do things for
Yeah.
people. I'm like, I can't do it for
Yeah.
you. You got to teach them how.
Yep. But she's an easy one to teach. She's doing great. So
Okay.
Okay.
Any last words from you? And then we're not
Yeah.
talking about this word
okay,
ever again.
ever again.
No, I just up to here. No, I'm kidding.
No, last words to you. Just thank you
Oh.
for everything.
You're welcome.
You are a huge inspiration for me, and I would not be sitting here as the guest on
On
this
your
podcast.
podcast?
Yeah, on my
I made you do the podcast. Here, you're doing this.
without you.
That's called
but for real.
opportunity.
Yeah, without you and our team,
We all love you
Yeah,
and we all
and
support you.
I love them, and yeah.
we respect you
Yeah.
even if we give you a hard time.
yeah,
I mean, if we didn't, we wouldn't be
right,
Moxie.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Well, keep on trucking, Taylor. Okay.
Over and out.
Okay, join us for another episode on Behind the Brand.
Bye.
Bye. As a special treat, we actually have the moment when Taylor receives her awards from the award ceremony a couple weeks ago.
Enjoy. Hopefully, I don't sound so too silly.
We're a little tipsy.
So I guess I don't qualify for the emerging leader. But AAF Central Minnesota is one of 2 American Advertising Federation clubs in Minnesota and one of 8 in our district. We are incredibly proud of the talent and leadership within Central Minnesota's creative community. In 2017, our club created the Emerging Leader Award to shine a brighter light on the rising professionals shaping the future of our industry. This year's Emerging Leader truly represents that vision. This year's Emerging Leader nomination reflects some whose creativity extends far beyond design. A seasoned copywriter and strategic marketer, they blend storytelling with business insight, crafting brand narratives that connect with audiences and drive meaningful growth. This person collaborates closely with clients, identifies goals, uncovers insights, and turns creative challenges into measurable results. At their place of work, this year's Emerging Leader is fostering collaboration, mentorship, and forward momentum. They have strengthened client relationships, elevated creative strategy, and consistently championing the value of thoughtful marketing. This year's winner has also been involved in our local AAF club, serving in multiple roles. Beyond the professional accomplishments, they are committed to community service, supporting young creatives, volunteering with local organizations, and leading pro bono initiatives that amplify nonprofit voices. The Emerging Leader Award recognizes those who are not only doing exceptional work today, but shaping what our industry will look like tomorrow. And that's exactly who this year's winner is, and that's what they're doing. This person's very special to me. She is my Moxie Mini. She is the succession of Moxie, hopefully, and she's a great friend and professional colleague. Please join me in congratulating our 2026 Emerging Leader, Taylor Selno of Moxie Creative.
Stepmom are supposed to be watching my children, but I'm pretty sure I see them over there, so that's okay. Okay, I don't really know what to say. I have been a part of AdFed as a whole since I was a sophomore in college, and I moved to St. Cloud in 2016 after I graduated to live with my boyfriend and his college roommates. My mom was so pleased by that. I was at a job, and about a year in, we were looking to do a website, and my dear friend Sarah was over there. I met with her when she was part of Meta 13, and then she emailed me like, this is really random, but would you be interested in becoming a part of AAFCM? And I was like, wait, there's an AdFed board here? And I joined and have been a member in some capacity since, and serving as a president during the amazing COVID years. That was really fun. But it's been such an honor to come up alongside a lot of these really amazing emerging leaders, and I remember coming to my first award shows and thinking like, wow, I would love to do that someday, and here I am. That's really, really cool. Obviously, a huge thank you to my team. Like, you guys are everything to me. I love the work that we get to do. It is so, so special, but of course, a very special thank you to Kelly. It took, 3 interviews for her to hire me, but she clearly saw something in me, and here we are, and Moxie is just the best place, we have the best team, and I'm really honored to be able to bring this home for them. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Behind the Brand. If you liked this episode, share it with a friend. If you didn't, share it with an enemy. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review. To stay connected, follow us at the links in the show notes below.